Aras always thought the strangest thing that could happen during his morning routine was his toaster launching bread like it resented him. That belief died the moment the air in front of him shimmered like boiling glass, and a woman stepped out of it, tall, graceful, long-eared, and looking at him as if he were the last dessert in the universe. He froze with his coffee halfway to his mouth, reconsidering every life choice, including waking up today. She blinked once, twice, and then smiled with the kind of certainty that made his spine attempt escape. "I've been looking for you for a long time," she said, pointing at him as if identifying an escaped pet. "Husband." The coffee cup committed suicide from his hand. Her ears twitched in alarm, brushing the edge of his doorway before she realized, too late, that human architecture wasn't designed for ears shaped like elegant satellite dishes. She winced, gave the doorframe a betrayed look, then straightened with all the dignity of someone pretending they hadn't just head-butted wood. Aras opened his mouth but found no vocabulary suitable for this situation. "I'm sorry," he finally managed. "I think you're looking for another husband." She tilted her head, ears swaying in a way that somehow made the situation worse. "No, just you. You made a vow with me." She stepped closer, and the air around her hummed faintly with the kind of energy only science fiction movies warned him about. "Long ago, you bonded with me." Aras mentally reviewed his childhood. He remembered cartoons, school fights, a traumatizing haircut at age 9, but nothing involving long-eared alien women or intergalactic marriage ceremonies. "Are you sure?" he asked. "Because if I did, it must have slipped my mind. Like where I put my old high school diploma." Her expression softened. "You were small, very small, half my size. You fell through a dimensional slip during a cosmic storm. You and I performed the bonding touch. It means union. It means fate. It means you belong with me." Aras blinked rapidly. "I did what now?" She reached into a shimmering pocket at her hip. He refused to think about how pockets worked on quantum fabric, and pulled out a floating crystal that projected light. An image formed. A little boy with messy hair and a missing front tooth holding hands with a tiny long-eared girl who looked suspiciously like the alien in front of him. The boy was grinning like an idiot. Aras felt his stomach dip. The image flickered, then vanished. "That could be anyone," he said weakly. "Lots of kids look like that kid." "It is you," she said simply. "You laughed when I told you my ears made good handles. You tugged them." "I what? No. I would never," she frowned. "You did, it hurt." "I'm sorry." She nodded, satisfied with the apology, though she still rubbed her ear as if recalling the trauma. Before he could gather his scattered sanity, she tapped a small disc on her wrist. A ripple of bluish light washed over the room, scanning everything from his unwashed dishes to the socks he still hadn't folded. "Your dwelling is inefficient," she announced. "Our shared home will be more comfortable." "Shared? Wait, hold on." He tried to back away, but she gently caught his sleeve with the kind of strength that suggested she could bend steel while giving a polite smile. "Come, I will explain on the way." "The way to where?" "Our vessel." "Great," Aras muttered. "Nothing says romance like probable abduction." She led him outside, where something hovered above the street, sleek, silver, and glowing, like someone crossed a spaceship with a very smug dolphin. A ramp extended with theatrical timing Aras suspected was intentional. "Does it always do that?" he asked. "It enjoys being dramatic," she said. "It thinks it helps." "Your ship thinks." "Yes, it also judges." "Do not touch anything sticky." "Sticky? Yes, it produces substance when anxious." "Why is it anxious?" She gestured at him. "You." Aras wasn't sure whether to be offended or flattered. Inside, the ship's lighting adjusted instantly, bathing the interior in a warm glow that almost made him forget he had been declared an alien husband against his will. Screens flickered to life, displaying strange constellations and symbols that pulsed as if breathing. The translation drone hovering near the ceiling turned to face him, beeped twice, and projected a phrase into the air. "Welcome my big soup." Aras stared. "What?" The alien woman sighed. "It means beloved. The drone is old." As the ship lifted into the sky, leaving his normal life shrinking below. He felt panic and curiosity collide in his chest. The woman Lyra, she finally told him, watched him with hopeful expectation. "You will remember," she said softly. "You will see why I searched all this time." Aras swallowed hard. "And what if I do?" Lyra's long ears lowered a little, but she still smiled. "Then I will help you, patiently, gently, and without letting you tug my ears ever again." "I still don't think I did that." "You did." The ship hummed. The stars stretched into streaks around them, and Aras realized his ordinary Tuesday had ended several galaxies ago. The ship carried Aras through a corridor of distorted starlight, stretching space the way a lazy cat stretches on a warm carpet. He tried to look calm, but his fingers clutched the seat like he was attempting to strangle it into giving him answers. Lyra sat beside him, her long ears flicking in a rhythm he suspected meant she was excited, though he couldn't rule out mild turbulence. She leaned closer. "Your breathing is irregular," she said. "Are you frightened?" "No," he lied. "This is just how I breathe when I'm abducted by someone claiming to be my interdimensional spouse." The translation drone hovered down, beeped at him, and projected, "Why is your chest on fire?" Aras groaned. "Great. The drone thinks I'm exploding." Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder, gentle yet firm enough to make him suspect her idea of a hug could crack ribs. "You are safe. No flames. The drone misinterprets." "Good to know," he muttered. "Wouldn't want to combust during our honeymoon or whatever this is." The ship's interior dimmed, then brightened with a soft pulse that resembled a heartbeat. Lyra tilted her head. "It wants to show you something." Aras watched as the wall shimmered and transformed into a projection of a memory, two small figures standing in a glowing garden, floating lights drifting like curious insects. A tiny Lyra giggled as the human boy beside her made faces at a flower that kept changing colors in response. The scene shifted, showing them touching foreheads, then laughing as a spark of energy flickered between them. Aras felt a quiet shock ripple through him. The boy's expression, the way he stood, the shape of his nose, they looked disturbingly like him. Not adult him, but him enough to sting. Lyra's voice softened. "You fell into our realm for 1 hour. We were children. We bonded through the touch. I remembered every moment." The projection vanished, the ship humming as if waiting for his reaction. Aras rubbed his temples. "This is impossible. I would remember something like that. I can't just misplace an entire interdimensional friendship. Your world's mind can forget dimensional slips. It protects itself." "Well, it protected me way too well." Lyra's ears lowered a little. "I searched for you through 6 star cycles. I followed your world's signals. I visited 3 wrong dimensions. One had too many lizards." Aras blinked. "Too many?" "Yes, everywhere, on ceilings, in shoes." Aras snorted despite himself. "You traveled the universe to find me, and you're traumatized by lizards." "They were large," she said defensively. "One tried to sell me insurance." The ship glided into a vast hangar, filled with shimmering platforms and drifting drones. Aras stood on shaky legs as the ramp lowered. Lyra beckoned him. "This is the mid-station. My family is not here. You will not be overwhelmed." A small spherical robot rolled up and scanned him from head to toe. It beeped, displayed a cheerful symbol, then promptly bumped into a wall. Aras pointed at it. "Please tell me that wasn't my medical exam." "No," Lyra sighed. "That is a housekeeping unit. It is defective but friendly." "Like a golden retriever with wheels." "Yes, it likes socks." "Good, it can help with my laundry." She guided him to a room filled with holographic displays. The symbols shifted when he approached, brightening as if reacting to him. "These records track the bonding touch," Lyra said. "Your presence activates them." "So they're basically marriage receipts," Aras muttered. One hologram expanded, showing energy patterns from their childhood encounter. The resonance matched both their signatures. Aras felt his throat tighten, not from fear this time, but from the strange familiarity blooming inside him. "This doesn't make sense," he whispered, "but it feels real." Lyra stepped closer, her voice gentle. "Your memory may be hidden, but your mind still knows me." The realization made his heartbeat stumble. So, where do we go from here? Lyra blinked, caught off guard by the softness in his tone. We learn, slowly, together. I do not expect you to accept everything now. The translation drone drifted down and flashed, I support your union, big soup and long ears. Lyra swatted it away. Ignore it. Aras laughed, a real, warm sound that surprised even him. Hard to ignore a flying toaster giving relationship advice. Lyra led him to a small observatory at the edge of the station. The windows opened to a view of a nebula swirling with blues and golds, like cosmic paint spread across endless canvas. Aras felt his breath catch, not in panic this time, but in awe. Lyra stood beside him, her reflection in the glass soft and hopeful. You are here now, she said. I will show you my world, and you will remember why you once held my hand. Aras looked at her long ears, still slightly bent from earlier collisions, her earnest eyes, her unwavering faith in a bond he couldn't recall but suddenly wanted to understand. I guess, he said quietly, if I'm already halfway to another galaxy, I might as well see where this goes. Lyra's smile brightened more than the nebula outside. The ship hummed in approval. The translation drone beeped in celebration. And Aras felt, for the first time since the chaos began, that maybe, just maybe, he wasn't being pulled into a strange new life. Maybe he was finally catching up to one he'd left behind. Aras expected Lyra's homeworld to look like an alien postcard, mysterious, glowing, and slightly dangerous. But he didn't expect it to look welcoming, as if the planet itself had been waiting for him with the enthusiasm of a long-lost aunt. The ship glided between spirals of crystalline trees that chimed softly in the wind, like nature's version of wind chimes with better musical training. Bioluminescent bridges arched between tall structures, and long-eared citizens paused mid-conversation to stare at him with wide, sparkling eyes. One waved with such excitement that Aras worried his arm might detach. Why is everyone looking at me like I'm famous? He whispered. Lyra's ears swayed in amusement. You are the lost bondmate returned. There have been celebrations planned for 7 cycles. 7 cycles, before you even found me. Hope is a powerful thing, she said, nudging him forward before he could run back up the ship's ramp. Her family awaited them at a landing terrace decorated with floating ribbons that sparkled like sentient confetti. A woman approached first, tall, elegant, ears longer than Lyra's and decorated with shimmering bands. She smiled warmly. Welcome, Aras, I am Lyra's mother. She offered a container holding a glowing plant that quivered nervously. Aras blinked. Is it supposed to do that? It likes you, she said proudly. It senses your anxiety. Great, Aras muttered. A plant that judges me emotionally. Lyra's father stepped forward, clasping Aras' hands with crushing enthusiasm. Let us feast, he declared. We prepared dishes from across 6 star sectors. Aras leaned toward Lyra. Do any of them try to crawl off the plate? Only one, she whispered. I will redirect it toward my father. He likes the chase. Dinner turned out to be less terrifying than he feared. The one bowl of glowing spheres kept rolling away from him like slippery marbles. Lyra caught them with effortless grace each time, laughing softly when he failed miserably. Her family watched them with affectionate curiosity, whispering excitedly whenever he returned a smile or attempted to pronounce a local dish. They approve of you, Lyra murmured. They think you have gentle energy. They clearly didn't see me scream when that fruit opened its eyes, he said. That fruit was rude, she replied solemnly. You were right to scream. After dinner, Lyra led him through a crystalline hallway to a chamber marked with swirling symbols. The moment he stepped inside, the air rippled, warm and oddly familiar, like a forgotten melody brushing the edge of memory. A circular platform glowed in the center of the room. This is the resonance chamber, Lyra explained. It will show the full truth of our bond. Aras hesitated. Will it hurt? Only if you are hiding something from yourself. So yes, he muttered. They stepped onto the platform together. Light swirled around them, weaving patterns that formed images. Two children laughing in a glowing garden, their hands touching, a spark linking them. But then the memory continued, showing the moment Aras had forgotten. A burst of dimensional energy pulling him away, his small fingers slipping from Lyra's grip while she cried out his name. The chamber echoed with their voices, hers desperate, his fading. Aras felt the weight of it crash over him, the old bond stirring not as a strange obligation but something real, something he'd never known was missing. Lyra reached for him now, her hand trembling. "This is what I carried all my life," she whispered, "a memory and a promise." Aras took her hand, steadying her. "And I left you without meaning to." "You returned," she said softly. "That is what matters." The chamber dimmed, leaving them standing close, their joined hands still glowing faintly. Aras felt lighter, as if some hidden knot inside him had finally loosened. "So what now?" he asked. Lyra hesitated, hope flickering in her eyes. "Now you choose. The bond will remain only if you accept it willingly. If not, it will fade and you may go home." He swallowed, thinking of Earth, his messy apartment, his ordinary life that suddenly felt too small. Then he looked at her, earnest, brave, long-eared, stubborn enough to cross dimensions for him. "Lyra," he said slowly, "I may not remember our beginning, but I want to see what our future looks like. With you." Her breath caught, her ears lifting in a way he'd learned meant joy. The room brightened, resonating with their joined decision. The translation drone, which had been lurking in the doorway, projected finally, "Big Soup chooses love." Lyra shooed it away, ears flushed, but Aras laughed, pulling her closer. They stepped out of the chamber hand in hand, the glow of the bond soft but steady. Her family cheered, and even the anxious plant wiggled happily. That night, under a sky swirling with unfamiliar constellations, Aras realized he no longer felt lost. He'd crossed dimensions, faced cosmic memories, eaten judgmental fruit, and somehow ended up exactly where he was meant to be. He wasn't the same man who clung to normal routines and doubted impossible things. He was someone who could choose a life larger than the one he'd known, someone who could follow a bond that had waited across the stars. When Lyra leaned against him, her ears brushing his shoulder, he smiled. "You know," he said, "if I really did yank your ears when we were kids, I owe you a lifetime of making up for it." "You do," she agreed, leaning closer. "But I will allow you to try." And as the sky shimmered above them, Aras felt something gentle and certain settle in his chest, a promise renewed, a journey completed, and a future beginning exactly where the past had once ended.